Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm sorry. It was me that was late today. It was my fault. I apologize. I am terrible. I am on punishment for the next 6 years and 5 months.
But admitting you have a problem is the first step to solving it.
What's up, boys? My name is Jonathan Sawyer with Cinco Squad. I got Mike DeSanto, Grandpa Jay, Pat in the Hat. We're all here. Mr. Cinco is in Miami, but he's asleep right now. So
I thought he was in Orlando.
Understandably. We'll talk after about that. How you guys doing today?
I'm great.
I'm tired now, John.
Sorry. Oh,
No, I'm good.
Awesome. Well, it's been a whirlwind of sports this weekend. We had a lot of in the college ranks. We had a lot of good opportunities in moving in the college football playoff. NFL had a lot of shock with the Jets beating the Buffalo Bills.
Woo.
College basketball's back. NHL's back.
Woo.
NBA's back. I'm back.
Basketball.
That's back.
John came back.
But I think we should do because I need a beer after this week. This week sucked. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sucks. Suck. So so what y'all sipping on tonight, Mikey Mike?
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this.
I look forward to it.
I love Mike's drinks.
I did find a good one, but I am a little nervous about it. I have not tried it yet. I have a limited edition Southern Tier Brewing Company, which is actually, I believe, headquartered down near my hometown, Frosted Sugar Cookie.
What? Is it a beer?
Yes, it is an Imperial Ale.
What?
IPA.
Only you, bro. Like, do you go to the fridge and like crawl into the back or ask them if you can go into the back so you can?
Bro, he takes his sweet time. He takes his sweet time when we went to.
Sweet.
Look at his face. This looks like it tasted Christmas.
That is so good.
Really?
That it legit.
Well, now you got to send us all one.
Yeah, please.
Well, I have 3 more, so. That literally tastes like there's like a ground up sugar cookie in it.
That's pretty hilarious.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll drink that.
No,
it sounds just like a chunky beer.
Get diabetes.
There's lumps in it.
There's what?
There's lumps.
There's not lumps in it.
Lumps in it?
No, there's not.
Cookie.
Your lumps.
It feels like that should come with like cookie dough on the side or something.
I think Mike
do need that, but
Mike can create the first edible beer. I can believe it.
True.
With all the ones I'm collecting now, I'm starting with the formula. Pat, what you sipping on?
I got top tier selection. Blue Moon, baby. Thank you, John Sawyer.
Hold on,
popped it open with this.
I was gonna say
brand new baby. Hey,
nice.
What is it?
Bottle opener.
It's a piranha.
It's a piranha.
Where do you put the bottle, though? Where do you put the bottle?
In the mouth.
Up its ass.
Or
Ain't that the truth?
It'll work. It's stainless steel, so it's pretty nice.
Cinco Squad After Dark.
We crack bottles and asses, baby. Jamie, what you got going on over there?
Well, I did have a cold Modelo about 20 minutes ago. But
Sorry.
Get him!
So cheers.
Sorry.
Actually, today was an unexpected break in the week for me. This is cheers to the unexpected break in the week. Not so much that some people, unfortunately, lost their lives in the storm tonight. But for others who needed a week break, who weren't outside at risk and stayed safe, well done. And John, what you sipping on? Why were you outside? What were you doing out in the dark coming off of this storm?
I got lost. And I went to dinner with Malin, so we had a nice dinner. And just, of course, when I leave and try to come home, there's an accident, so I had to go all the way around and get home. So it was a nightmare. But I am sipping on a Mick Ultra.
We didn't ask.
Ooh.
Yes, he did.
Oh. No, he asked what you were doing outside.
I thought what you sipping on, too.
So that was what I was doing, and I apologize, everybody, all our fans, and everybody that I was late.
All 101 of them.
See, Garrick stays up for me.
Like Garrick.
But I have one thing to say though. Like, I want to say Happy Veterans Day. to all the veterans out there who's
Sure.
risked their lives for our country. So salute to them. Cheers.
I thought you were going to say Happy Valentine's Day. I really did.
Pat can't take anything seriously. No.
Gotta be serious about, guys.
Yo, hold on. Talking about not taking stuff seriously. You guys remember Dwight from The Office?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? Do you hear what he changed his name to legally?
No, what?
Okay, so his real name is Rainn Wilson, but he changed his name to Rainfall Heat Wave Extreme Winter Wilson due to climate change. That is
nice.
Real talk. Rainfall Heat Wave Extreme Winter Wilson. Doesn't that seem like something Dwight would actually do?
Yeah.
He pulled a Dwight move in real life.
I've never really seen The Office, so I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, I've seen The Office.
But yes, then take her word for it. Yes.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
In reality, John,
we're gonna lose John for the rest of
the podcast was here, and now it's going down.
Way down here.
All right. So getting off the old Office, we gotta do our office work on the Cinco Squad Fantasy League, and I took a dub last week. I was happy. I think
dump last week. I lost to your dad.
Yeah, I got dumped on last week.
So I beat Rick the Ruler 155 to 119. Mike's team dominated Trey's 162-110. Mike had Joe Mixon.
Yes, I
did.
That
5 touchdown performance.
If you had Joe Mixon, I'm pretty sure everybody with Joe Mixon won.
All right, I got a confession real quick. I have him in my big money league. I did not play him.
And you lost.
I did not play him.
Oh my!
I played Ramondre Stevenson and Josh Jacobs over him.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that is they went to the full extreme against the Browns. They never gave him the ball, and then the week after,
that's what I mean, man.
They gave him the ball every single time. So
Josh Jacobs been number 4 running back all year in fantasy. And
you figure you would have ran it down Jacksonville's throat all day. Why did they not keep going to him in the second half? First of all, I watched that game because I was in Jacksonville with my family. That game made no sense.
No,
from a play call standpoint. I don't know what Josh McDaniels is doing with that team.
The Raiders don't make sense.
Our offensive-minded guru, it was the dumbest play calling I've seen with a guy averaging 6 yards a carry. You're not going to give him the ball in the fourth quarter. Made no sense.
He could have had a Mixon day.
Well, Pat took an L against my dad, like he said, 164 to 106.
Yeah.
OP beat Tyler 151 to 125, and then Fonz is on a 3-game winning streak after starting 0-6. 127, and Jamie, you're on a 1-game losing streak now.
Well, it ended my 6-game winning streak.
Right.
No, we don't talk about that. That's history.
This week I play Pat. My dad plays Tyler.
Made the wrong start.
Rick plays Trey. Mike plays Jamie, and then Fonz plays OP. Right now, it seems like if the playoffs were to be to this week, it'd be Mike versus Jamie, and then
this might be a
Trey Trey versus Pat. So basically, everyone in Cinco Squad except me. Aren't you happy, Jay?
Right, doesn't it?
Aren't you happy, Jay? Like, cheating, you got number 1 pick. Best player in our league is this guy, but he was bitching and complaining.
Watch John change the playoff format so 5 guys get in.
I should have, though. I can.
I'll tell you what. I'm not a big Jonathan Taylor.
First he gets a bye.
So we have Mike. What's first on the agenda tonight?
I believe what's first on the agenda tonight is to address our new, pains me to say it, World Series champions.
That's another hat I'll never buy.
Congratulations to the Astros. They were the better team in the world. I said it all season. They were the scariest team to play. But here's brings an interesting question. Are the Astros considered a dynasty at this point after being in the World Series 4 out of the last 6 years and winning it twice? What do you think, Pat?
By definition, yeah, dynasty.
Yeah.
Most down, getting to the level where you can win the World Series.
Yeah.
Yes, you're a dynasty if you've been there so repeatedly over the last 10 years.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one because, and Mike and I were going back and forth earlier today, and we were like, "Stop! Let's do this on the show." But I was saying that when the rest of the AL kind of I don't think fears, but like in a sense, fears to play you, or like their fandomship fears to play that team. I think that's when you have a dynasty type team, like you were saying, like because no one everyone was cheering for Seattle, probably because they wanted to see someone different. But I think also they wanted
Seattle played them the hardest all year too.
Correct, and we wanted to see so. And as the Yankees, you're thinking, okay, well maybe we can contend with Seattle. But I agree. I think they're a dynasty. I think they're going to be a team to beat for a while. They have a lot of youth, a lot of good pitching.
That's the thing too. Is I would also consider it's not just they're getting there. They're getting there with homegrown guys too. I mean, we can talk about their cheating scandal and everything too, but most of these guys are coming up through the farm system.
Correct.
Getting coached up, and
Correct.
they have the most dominant pitching up and down the lineup too. And pitching wins championships. We know this.
Yeah, and their best pitcher wasn't even good in the World Series, and that was Verlander. It was their young guys.
Verlander's first World Series. Look at that.
Is it really? I thought he pitched in the World Series before. With the
He's
Tigers?
He's never won.
Yes, he has.
Has he?
Yeah, he was on the 2017 team.
Yep.
He came over in a trade with Greinke.
But we'll get to that. No, he signed as a free agent.
No, he got traded.
Free agent.
No.
He's actually opted out of his contract now, so he won't be pitching for Houston next year.
No,
Mike, what do you think?
You know what I think? No,
he's never had a win in the World Series.
No, this was his first starting win in the World Series. He's got a ring. He just never won. No.
He's like Carson Wentz.
You meant, but no, they're not a dynasty because that 2017 championship doesn't count. They cheated.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they would have gone and won anyway, we'll never know. But it's been proven they cheated, so that doesn't count. That means yes, you've been to 4 of the last 6, but you've only won 1 of them. You've lost the other. You've cheated and then lost twice, and you have to win. It's not just about making it. You have to win to be a dynasty.
Well, here's the thing, Mike. Like,
hold on, let me add to that real quick. You have to win back to back to be a dynasty.
Why?
And they failed to do that, and that's my definition
as
of
a
dynasty.
baseball team. I wouldn't.
I don't think that's how.
Yes. Because there was a lot of argument when the Giants kept winning in the even years and they couldn't win back to back.
Yeah, they're considered a dynasty.
Even though they won 3 out of 5, they consider them a dynasty because you won more championships in a time frame and span where it's like, okay, you've won more than half the amount in the last 5 years. So we'll consider you a dynasty. But when you look at what a dynasty team is able to repeat. Like in almost every sport, you crown a dynasty as someone who can repeat. And right now, Houston is built to repeat. And I will, whether or not Verlander's on the roster next year, I have them as my favorites to win next year. Everybody right now thinks that the Padres are a sexy pick, and they are. The Padres
they are.
Contend, all right? The Dodgers are probably going to fall off at this point, and same thing with the Yankees because of age more than anything else. And Houston and San Diego seem to be the sexy pick next year, and I'll take Houston over San Diego in the World Series if that happens. I think if they win next year, we're talking about winning 3 out of in 7 and going to the World Series 5 times in 7 years. At that point, it's like, okay, you have to crown them a dynasty.
So I get what Mike's saying. I get what everyone's saying. I don't like the fact that they won, that the trophy still stands, but in the record books, they are still the 2017 world champions.
And no suspensions are still handed down from that. Let's just put that out there.
Exactly. Well, I get that. Like, okay, but it's still there. It's not like the UCF where they crowned it on their damn stadium where it says 2017 national title champ. They're not. They're not. But that doesn't include you being a national title. You didn't beat Bama. Bama was the national title.
Bama didn't want to play them. They were scared.
Yeah, okay.
I'm getting off track.
So look, so here's the deal, right?
But here's my thing. Here's my point, Jamie, is like, what I was saying before is that I don't know if I muted myself. Is that I think that they are just because I think they've been there. I agree with Pat that they've built up a farm system, and there's only I think 2 guys from that 2017 team that's still there, maybe 2 or 3. Michael Brantley was there, but he didn't play this year. But I think Bregman, Altuve was there, but the starters, there wasn't a lot of starters on that team this year that were on that 2017 team. Pena was a rookie that came out of Maine, out of nowhere, that is now a World Series MVP.
Good call, by the way, Mike.
What?
He said good call.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just I see them as a dynasty. I agree with you, Jay. I think they're going to be a team to fear. I disagree with you that I think the Dodgers and the Yankees are going to fall off because number one, the Dodgers have a whole lineup full of contracts that are full, that are going to be dominant. They just had a bad postseason. The Yankees, it all depends on what they do with Mr. Number 99.
Yes, it does.
And they did send out the qualifying offer today.
So hold on, you're saying that that's more important than getting pitching that can win in the playoffs?
Yes.
Well, here's the thing: is if they don't re-sign him, no, I agree with you but here's the thing: is they need more than pitching. They need people 5 through 9 to hit. 5 through 9 had 2 hits in the ALCS. 2.
They got
in 5 games. 2 hits. How do you win a baseball game when 1 through 4? Even if 1 through 4, gets you okay hits, you still need the rest of the lineup to hit.
But why did both teams in the World Series get there this year?
Because they played small ball. They pitched well. Right. But I'm not saying that's not. I'm not saying that there's a trickle down effect though with it. There's a trickle down effect with not signing Judge. You don't sign Judge, you lose Rizzo because no matter what, I think Rizzo's going exactly where Judge is. You lose Rizzo and Judge, Benintendi's probably walking as well. It's just a trickle down effect. And then the team is built around Giancarlo Stanton, who gets hurt halfway through the season and is out for 3 months and then is playing DH. It's just a trickle down effect. I mean, pitchers want to go where they don't feel a lot of pressure. That's the problem with Cole right now is that he didn't have pressure in Houston. He had Verlander, Greinke, Mike, help me out with the other couple of pitchers that he had, but he had them to bounce off of, and he didn't have to be the guy. I agree with you that pitching is something that I've been screaming about over the last few years for them to get, but right now, number 99 is the most important person to go get right now.
Yes.
To build.
The Yankees had pitching.
All right, so
they have to add pitching.
If two of us think that they are a dynasty and 2 of us don't, how about our guest chime in right now and tell us what he thinks? You're still there. And maybe we can.
Oh well, he already did.
Yeah, he said no.
No, you have to win the World Series. They have won 1.
Okay, so he's like you. His argument is that the cheating one didn't count, or that one didn't count because they cheated. Right?
Part of my family, of course. Great.
Well, of course, somebody might have a bit.
Yeah, no, I just think.
Thank you, random citizen.
Thank you, random citizen. To allow me to address quickly some of the points that were made. As far as the back-to-back thing, I don't think that's necessarily true. The Giants were a dynasty. They just won every other year. Yes, it was weird, but that happened. Nobody considered the Houston Rockets a dynasty. They won back-to-back championships in the 90s. Yes, it's only because Michael Jordan wasn't in the league, most likely. But still, no one considered them a dynasty. As far as the Yankees and Dodgers, I completely agree with John. If they do not sign Judge, no one is coming. No one is staying, and no one is coming to help. That will actually make a difference.
I don't want to make a joke.
Pat, shut up.
The Judge is coming.
Just because Houston was signed
well, listen, if that's what it takes.
What's the joke? What's the joke?
No. Don't.
What?
Don't. And the Dodgers have a lot of very good players.
Very good.
Like even if they lose Trey Turner, which may or may not happen, we don't know yet.
That's the whole nucleus to them winning. They have to keep Turner.
Really?
I
don't think so because what we're forgetting about this Dodgers team is that this is a Dodgers team that was missing Walker Buehler. Their number 1 pitcher. Buehler. So I think, honestly, if Walker Buehler...
And that's huge. And I get you. That's huge.
Yeah. If he's pitching in the playoffs, I think they move on.
Jay, I agree with you 100% on your take, though. Like, I agree with you that pitching is a key component to winning a championship because I've been saying it for 3 years for the Yankees that they rely too heavily on Cole. I think they have some pieces. Jameson Taillon was a 16-game winner this year. He's a good 4. You got Severino, who's going to come back and probably hopefully he doesn't get hurt, cross fingers. You got Cole. I think they do need to go get a starter. I don't think they need to go spend the world on him. But I do agree with you.
They might need to.
I think they might get that guy from the Marlins.
Santa, which one?
Alcantara.
Yeah, Alcantara.
Or the other
one.
one.
NL Cy Young.
Yeah, that would be a great signing.
Yeah. They might end up needing 2 starters because I didn't realize it. Tyen's a free agent, and from what I'm reading, they're expected to lose him. I saw Diamondbacks.
So since Houston swept you guys, Yankees deserve no more time on this podcast. Moving on.
Mike can be our Tim Kirchin.
See, what I'm hearing is that Jameson Taillon is going to sign with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and that's just that's what's going to happen.
Did you see Shefty this week mocking Kirk Cousins with the chains?
You like it?
He's in good shape, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I looked at him. I was like, okay, well, he's in pretty good shape. He has some abs, and I was like, all right, Shefty, do you?
I hate Kirk Cousins.
I really need Rizzo to sign back. I will not be well if he doesn't.
Antonio Rizzo. Yes, the pride of the Italy. The pride of Italy.
That guy's Italian.
But something that popped up this week was about the NFL, and I know we're going to switch over to the NFL here. Is something that I kind of thought was that Jay. I want Jay to start this because I think he's the one that came up with it. But he thinks, who is your debate for the best QB in the NFL? I want Jay to go first because I know he had to take the first take on it in our group chat. So go for it, Jay.
Who's the best quarterback in the NFL right now?
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
And why?
Because Patrick Mahomes has done what everybody else would have probably done in his position, is make up an excuse as to why they won't be that good and look at the other side of the field. But he thought that the grass is still green. He still has the best tight end probably to ever play, and he's rejuvenated Juju's career. Hardman was a nobody last year with Tyreek on the roster. Now he's been significant in half of their games. All right. Bala Scanning, who Rodgers could never do anything with, has been good for maybe half of their games as well. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, that all he does is find different guys in different scenarios, and it's not, of course, it depends on Kelsey, but he just finds a way to get the ball to everybody else, and it's not just one guy consistently. It's everybody in the roster contributing. You know that does to the confidence of players? It takes it way up. So he makes everybody around him better than any other quarterback in the league. That's why he's the best quarterback in the league.
I agree with you. I mean, I like everyone puts Josh Allen in, but the problem is Josh. There's no right or wrong answer in that situation because it's either Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. They both do different things. Josh Allen has a cannon of an arm. So does Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can move out of the pocket. He sees guys. He's open. One thing Josh Allen, I think, struggles with is spreading the ball around too much. I don't think he, can. I think he focuses too much on Diggs, but that's like minor stuff that he can work. That he has to work on. And if that's the worst your quarterback has is that he hits his best receiver too much. Okay, that's a good problem to have.
So explain the Gabriel Davis game against the Patrick Mahomes Chiefs. Explain that then. Because Josh Allen.
Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't spread the ball around. I'm saying
hold on, I'll explain that. The defense wasn't playing defense for the entire quarter.
He was wide open. It's not like
here's the thing. You're looking at Patrick Mahomes with a bunch of number 2 wide receivers right now. Of course he has to spread the ball. Josh Allen has a stud of a number 1 receiver. Yeah, you're going to hyper-target that guy who's getting paid a lot of money to get the ball, he still spreads it. I'm not defending Josh Allen by any means. But I'm just saying, those 2 guys are 1 and 2. Oh, I definitely am. You won me a lot of money in fantasy football. I got to defend this guy.
He's winning me a lot right now.
Dude, he can spread the ball around. There's the money talk you want to say. These guys, if you want to say Josh Allen's number 1, if you want to say Pat Mahomes number 1, I'm not going to argue and say you're wrong. Yeah, you just can't sit there and say Josh Allen doesn't spread the ball around because he does.
Yeah, I said that's like
especially
one of like
zero running game in Buffalo.
The only reason why I say that is because it's because I did have a few of his receivers in fantasy this year. they haven't got
Take it personal with this one.
So did you? You just got personal saying I love.
I said it. Why I'm defending him.
I'm saying it too.
I also said if you want to go Pat Mahomes, I can't debate.
I like Pat Mahomes. I like his game. I like the way
these 2 guys are the most talented quarterbacks
agreed
the league has ever seen.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Who else can throw the ball? Who else can run the ball?
Steve Young.
Yeah.
No, he's got
Donovan McNabb.
No, not McNabb's not in there.
Vic.
Warren Moon.
Well, okay.
Randall Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham.
All right.
You're
all right. Stay corrected. Maybe not ever.
Joe Montana.
Montana.
These guys are awesome.
Bart Starr.
These guys
Boomer
are
is sizing.
Boomer. Terry Bradshaw.
But no, I agree with Jamie. I think Pat Mahomes is the best. If I had to pick between, I'd pick him because when he came in the league, he immediately had success. He immediately did the things that needed to be done as a starting quarterback and won them a Super Bowl that year. So, Josh Allen, I'm not saying is wrong. I agree with you, Pat, too. That like you can't go wrong with it. If you had to pick, if your second pick was Josh Allen, it's not like you're going to be like, damn, I got Josh Allen. You're going to be like, all right, cool. I got a talented quarterback. Now, here's where the biggest thing is. I've heard a lot of things come out about Jalen Hurts this year. And I will vocally on this live podcast say that I was wrong. Like I was very wrong about him. I did not trust his arm. I did not trust everything. So shut up.
I didn't expect it to go this way.
Mikey,
I was wrong. I was wrong
Mikey's
about him.
Before we move on to another quarterback, Mikey, why are you shaking your head?
I'm in the middle of telling my story, Jamie.
No.
John
Finished because I have to move on to another quarterback. So, John, go ahead.
No, Hurts is not in this. Hurts is not. Hurts doesn't have enough body of work right now.
I agree with you, and that's what I was trying to say. Is I just don't see him as a top. I see him as a top 5 right now, just because of the talent around the league. But I think I was just wrong about him. I think he's a great leader for the team. He's Donovan
in conversation MVP.
Probably his touchdowns, his passing touchdowns, probably.
But he's got rushing touchdowns.
I think he's only got 6 or 7,
which is leading all quarterbacks.
Okay, all right, Mike, go ahead.
Gentlemen, I'll leave. You've all given out some fantastic names.
No.
We all know.
Quarterback. See what you opened up, Jamie.
See what you entire league is. And he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's right.
It's Patrick Mahomes, but
it's Christian McCaffrey.
It's Trey Lance. We just haven't been able to see it yet. I honestly, I think it is still Mahomes, but like I said earlier this year, I think by the end of the season, if it's not already 1 and 1A, I think it's going to be 1 and 1A. Whether you like Pat said, whether it's Mahomes Allen or Allen Mahomes, they're both phenomenal quarterbacks. I agree with you guys. You really can't go wrong with either of them. There's a lot of quarterbacks. I mean, I know he hasn't looked fantastic this year.
There are a lot of quarterbacks.
I know he hasn't looked fantastic this year. I still think maybe not the best in the league, but up there. I think Justin Herbert can be up there.
Boy, go Ducks! Scope.
Yeah, I don't know what's
already the best.
I don't know if it's just he's just having an off year. He just doesn't look comfortable. But he's also dealt with a lot of rib injuries, which is very hard as a quarterback to like move around. It's hard for anybody to move around.
He can't breathe. If it's hard to breathe, it's hard to do anything.
And I don't blame him for not telling the doctors of the Chargers organization not to touch him. Don't touch me. Remember Tyrod?
Yeah, ask her. I was gonna say ask current New York Giants backup quarterback Tyrod Taylor.
Lawsuit on the Chargers. So the more interesting debate, we know that these guys are 1 and 1A. I think everybody would probably put those 2 names out there. The more interesting debate is who comes next, and it's probably from this list of 4: Herbert, Burrow, Lamar. And we said
Lamar 3.
Lamar, right?
Easily.
Hurts hasn't have enough. Hurts and Tua don't have enough body of work yet to be in there. They're playing like it right now. So it would have to be out of those 3 guys. Is it Burrow, Herbert, or Lamar at this point? Now Lamar's an MVP.
Lamar easily is number two after that. I think
Lamar is in that class right there.
Yeah, he is.
Lamar should be with Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen.
That's what I'm saying. So is he the?
Okay, yeah.
No, I thought you were grouping them with Herbert and Burrow.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is that the next debate for who is after those 2, who tops that list? Herbert, Lamar, or Joe Burrow? because I can't think of any other quarterback that
No,
belongs.
I think those are the next three.
So what
the projections right now is probably Herbert.
Right.
Yeah.
Projections. But on the field, I would say right now, it's hard because a lot of people, what they see is the body of work that Burrow did in the last 8 games of the season, including the playoffs. And I'm including 8 games because that's when he started to turn it up and the Bengals started to like heat up and start to really play like the AFC champion. This year, they have not. And they're allowed to have a bad game. Josh Allen had a bad game against the Dolphins
and the Jets.
I didn't get to see that game, so I wasn't really sure.
It was pretty bad. Whether you saw it or not, it was bad.
Yeah. Well, so I say Lamar. I agree with Pat. I think Lamar's in that question with Josh and Patrick.
Yeah, I think I'm always partial to Herbert more because at quarterback I've always been more partial to your traditional pocket passer. I'm still getting used to like the new wave of, guys that are more apt to throw on the run. Although Mahomes
can throw on the run.
What?
Who can throw on the run?
That's what I'm getting at.
I was joking with you.
I know. I'm saying like Mahomes being the best quarterback in the league makes that even more common because he is a very the guy throws from his back foot turned around and chucks it 70 yards.
Yeah, Mahomes is a Madden player.
Yeah.
No. He legit just is characters in Madden.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I think given what they've done so far this year, because like you said, it is very much a "what have you done for me lately?" type of conversation. It is Lamar. I think Herbert does have the potential to be number 3 behind Mahomes and Allen, but right now it is Lamar.
Yeah, I'm just saying Herbert's got the projections for the stats.
Yes.
Where can the team bring you? I know the quarterback goes along with the team, but Lamar's going to be there. Obviously, Joe Burrow just went to the fucking Super Bowl, so he's got to be in the conversation.
Well, yeah, so what have you done for me lately? But I think these last few, the beginning of this season may have trumped that a little bit.
It might go into the same conversation as like Brady's got the reins, but Drew Brees has the stats.
Right.
It's longevity type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Brady has all the stats now. First part.
Now he's got all the stats. But
no one's ever going to touch those.
Playing with them anymore.
No, because nobody's going to play till almost 50.
100,000 passing yards.
No, exactly. And like everyone says, like
wait, John, real quick, just piggybacking off Jamie's thing. They already statted out Justin Herbert will have to play until he's 47 to reach that.
Yeah,
that's nuts.
Pat Mahomes, they were talking about like if Pat Mahomes would, and then he's like, no, they would. Like a couple of broadcasters on the Sunday morning like football before the games were like, no, just because like they don't think that he's going to want to play that. He's the owner of the Royals. Like he's gonna probably want to like after 15 years, 20 years, if he wins a couple more Super Bowls, couple more MVPs. He'll probably call it quits and go do other business ventures because that's what people.
That's after 12 because he can win easily 4 Super Bowls into his 12th year. You get that,
or let's see him play until he's 45 and he gets a divorce
at the level that he's playing.
He might be playing for that.
It might not be,
boys.
Looking at the way that relationship's developing, it might not be by the time he's 45. That might be the time he's 32.
I'll pray for that. Man.
Well. Speaking about football, we're going to move on to our college games last weekend. What a mix-up.
I know.
Bama, Tennessee, and Clemson all down. We were talking about that last week. Gone. And TCU got the love. Are you guys shocked by that? Were you guys shocked by the love that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, okay, Tennessee's going to be 4.
Right.
But I think it's the way Tennessee lost has got them kicked out.
Yes.
And Jamie, how about your boys up there at number 1? Your boys.
My dog.
Your dogs.
I'll never call them my dogs, but I was very impressed by what they did last season and very impressed by what they did against Tennessee. That was a statement game, hands down. It was the statement game of the season, sending a message to everybody else, especially to the committee saying, oh, wait, you think this kid's the Heisman? Well, let our defense show you why he's not. And it's now just completely slammed the door open for the Heisman. It's not Bryce Young. It's not Helen Hooker. At this point, it's really a debate as to who's the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, and I don't know if there's a front runner at this point.
Blake,
CJ Stroud, probably.
Fucking Corum.
It probably is CJ Stroud.
How are you going to say no? He has more yards than Henry. Hold on. He has more yards than Henry, Ingram, and I can't think. I think it was Reggie Bush. At this point, he has more touchdowns than this. He's at 1,178 yards and 16 touchdowns. How do you not put him in the Heisman?
His numbers are ridiculous. The problem is, I don't know why people keep saying it's about Michigan's schedule. The problem is the conference having a down year other than the two dominant teams is really hurting him because all those other names you mentioned played in conferences that had top 10 teams perennial throughout the year. So the competition was there. The level of play to the committee was like you're beating potential NFL defenses or players going to the NFL in these defenses. So it's hurting him, and that sucks because it shouldn't.
Well, to Mike's point, he was number 3 in the voting in like the projections going into that last weekend.
Right.
He right behind CJ Stroud. Both CJ Stroud and Bryce Young had shit games. So how is he not put up into? He ran for over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Had a crappy game for sure.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, he played in 40-mile-an-hour winds. He really couldn't throw the ball. Right. I mean, so he did beat them with their legs. I agree with you. I think it's stupid that a quarterback always wins it, but like, in my opinion, I think thanks, appreciate you. I think Corum, the Max Dugan from TCU, he's got like 2,400 yards and like I think 22.
Bo Nix in there.
No.
Nix in there.
No.
No, 2,000 yards passing already.
I do agree. Oregon looks so the loss against Oregon, and I agree with what Herbstreit said this week.
Lost to Georgia.
Oregon's loss to Georgia, yes, was now looking better for the Ducks.
But remember they lost 49-3 though. Like they didn't lose.
But you don't look at the scoreboard.
The number one team in the country.
Tennessee dropped out because of the way they lost.
Exactly.
Yeah, November, not the first game. It's
Oregon. No part of Oregon's team played good for that game.
That game.
But it was also what's against him is the fact that it was the first game of the season. That's the one thing that Oregon has in their pocket because we had this conversation earlier that the first
scheduled
you know what I mean? The number one team in the country got their ass kicked by them.
Yeah.
So it now looks a lot better. Oregon needed that last weekend.
Flip side, it looks better for Georgia. We just whipped number 6's team game 1.
Georgia's in.
In Atlanta.
Georgia's in. Kentucky ain't beating Georgia. Georgia's in.
The
interesting thing that's going to happen now is that and here's where it's going to suck for Michigan is that Michigan does end up losing. Tennessee gets in because I don't think TCU wins at Texas this week. They just haven't looked good for the last 2 weeks. They should have lost both games. Somehow their defense has bailed them out. I think Texas outplays them this week, and the defense might not be able to bail them out. But I see the TCU loss coming, which makes Tennessee get in, which then gives Michigan, unfortunately, that I must beat Ohio State factor. And it's weird. If Michigan wins, I think Ohio State still gets in with a loss, but not the other way.
So that was the question of the week is, will Michigan and Ohio State both make the college football playoff? I think now, since Bama's out of the question, Clemson's out of the question, and Tennessee is officially out of the question, I wouldn't say officially, but
Bama out if LSU loses one more game. I thought Bama's
they're not going to put a 2-loss team in. They're with the 9.
Bama's
but LSU would be a 3-loss team.
Bama has 2. LSU has 2.
LSU loses one more.
They're not going. But if they lose to Georgia in the SEC champ, they're not in. They won't put a 3-loss team for let's say TCU runs the table. They're not going to put
into the SEC championship game. Bama wins, like we said, it's Bama.
Bama doesn't have a chance. Literally, LSU has to lose the next 3, and Ole Miss has to lose at least.
Well, Bama plays Ole Miss this
in like
weekend.
3rd or 4th in their division.
Ole Miss has one.
Already talking like he's already lost. He ain't making it.
Well, my thing is I think now after this weekend, it does open up the door that game doesn't. It still holds value in the rivalry, but I don't think it makes or breaks either season because then you're talking about a one-loss team. But I'm leaning more towards it. Michigan has to win out because of, like you said earlier, Jay, is their non-conference schedule, which is bullshit. Because all the SEC schools schedule bullshit. Like LSU has to play UAB this weekend. Like, come on, really? Right in the middle?
Like, they barely have a football team.
So it's like you're criticizing Michigan, but the SEC goes and plays all these crap teams all year long in the beginning, and then I get what you mean though. So
shout out
Are we not giving Oregon any love? Pat, go ahead, Pat. Go and give your boy some love. Oregon sitting there at 7, like
they're there. They're there.
Too.
I was surprised at how low they were.
Win the Pac-12. They're there. They should be. All year it's been Oregon lost to Georgia, and then the talk was USC, UCLA. If we win the Pac-12, you can't diminish that we crushed UCLA at home,
and they've looked awesome this year. They really have.
They rebounded very nicely.
Overachieving big time. About 4 teams in the top 15 of the CFP. That's amazing for the Pac-12.
Well, I mean, USC looks good, and I'm sorry.
What I want to bring up is TCU getting all the love that we're saying. They played a lot of backup quarterbacks in a row to get to this undefeated season, and that's actually kind of wild. Like,
and still have a guy throwing 2,400 yards.
It's crazy, man. This is a TCU team that no one's even talked about.
Because maybe they don't deserve to be talked about as much because of what
I don't think they do. I don't think they do.
But they're one of 2 teams still unbeaten at this point, or 3, right? 4. All 4 in the top actually are the unbeaten teams. And so they should be in the mix. It's probably for the first time in a while, the 4 teams have been unbeaten this deep, because number 4 is normally at maybe at 1 loss, and number 3 is at 1 loss because of an early season loss.
Right.
You got all unbeatens right now, right? And the argument has been, if you're unbeaten, the committees proved last year, hey, we'll put Cincinnati in there. So if all of these teams win out, of course, Ohio State or Michigan has to have 1 loss, which then opens the door for Tennessee or Oregon at that point, especially if TCU loses. So.
But speaking of undefeated, would you take Cincinnati undefeated or TCU's undefeated? If those
TCU.
2 teams, you would take TCU over Cincinnati undefeated?
Yeah, just the conference they play in. The Big 12, even though it's still the Big 12, it's the lowest football conference. It's still a Power 5 considered. You're still playing the likes of Oklahoma.
You're talking about Cincinnati, who just whipped ass in their out of conference last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati looked great last year. I just would still take TCU. TCU knows how to play back from a lead. I think it's close, but I think you take TCU just because of the Power 5. There's a reason why Cincinnati's going to the Big 12 next year, and along with UCF and BYU and Houston. There's a reason why they're going there, because they want to be in a Power 5 consideration. So they're going to get that consideration if you're a Power 5 school.
Win that conference with Texas and Oklahoma dipping out. So,
and Pat, I agree with you. Oregon has looked completely different from the first game. They look
rebounded.
Whole new team.
I give them 100% credit. Bo Nix has looked completely different. I watched their game and I was like, all right, I'll watch this game. I was like, all right, Bo Nix, here we go. And he threw a pass over the guy. I was like, all right, this is gonna be a long game. And then he started hitting everyone on the dime. I was like, oh wow,
he does not look like the Auburn Bo Nix.
No, not anymore.
Not even close to it. But you see, that's what happens when you open up the playbook, right? And like, kudos to Dan Lanning, because you come from a championship caliber team and then you inject that energy into your team. And look, what more can you get from the guy who could look at you in the locker room and say, hey guys, I was on this team last year. This team was built to win the championship. So don't put your heads down. You lost to the team built to be a dynasty. Don't put your heads down. Who more validated to say that than the guy who was on that sideline in the previous year? So they came off that loss feeling themselves. Most teams would be like, we got embarrassed on national TV. Our season's done. Not throw the towel in, but feel sorry for themselves. He snapped them out of that right away. And like you said, Bo Nix looks totally reemerged. Bo Nix looked like the Auburn quarterback, Bo Nix, in that first game. He looks like a different guy now.
Yeah. He looks like who Auburn recruited.
Yes.
who they thought he would be. And that's no shame to Bo Nix, because look at Auburn. That program is in shambles right now. So Mike, we haven't heard from you. What's up? Took a nap?
Yeah, a little bit. Just let you guys go. No, honestly.
Nuts, smack, volunteers, woof, dogs.
I agree. I think Michigan needs to win out to make it in because of what we've said in a bunch of different past episodes now. It's about faith at a certain point. And because of the way they showed up, even though it shouldn't be this way, definitely shouldn't be this way. Because of the way they showed up against Georgia last year, there's not as much faith in them as a college football playoff team going into this year. I almost want to say if Michigan loses to Ohio State's in, no matter what happens in the Big Ten championship game. But Michigan needs to win the Big Ten championship.
So here's a question.
Ohio State's in regardless if they lose. That's what you mean.
As long as they beat Michigan at the end of the year.
So here's something I was talking to Mr. Cinco about before he came down here on his trip, and I was saying, do you think if Michigan, let's say Michigan loses on a game-winning field goal, do they prove, or does it have to be a close game? Because look at Tennessee now. Now everyone's like, I don't trust Tennessee and everything. Yeah, they're five.
Tennessee.
They're 5, but I still don't think they get in because now they don't play in the SEC championship game, and I think there's going to be better teams before them. So if Michigan loses that game, which they won't, if they lose that game by a field goal or a touchdown like they did in 2016 in overtime, do you think they still deserve a shot to be looked at even if they lose? Because
do I think they deserve it? Yes. Do I think they'll get it? No.
I think they will.
Because here's the thing you have to look at. Right? As the number 3 team, if you compete as a number 3 team with the number 2 team and take them to the wire, who was supposed to beat you because Ohio State will probably be favored by 2.5 probably in that game.
Probably.
Then what you're telling the committee is we can play at this level. So if you want good football in the actual CFB, then put us in there because TCU can't guarantee that. Neither can Tennessee. They can't guarantee that because Tennessee may have showed their true colors already. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, yes. Here's another thing to consider that's actually very interesting in all this. Your Fighting Irish just made Ohio State look a lot better by beating Clemson, who everybody thought was a shoe-in because they're just going to win out in the ACC.
And they're done now.
Right? Now they're done. So I think Ohio State can lose and still get in.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Ohio State and like next year, Michigan has a tough non-conference, which will help. But here's my thing, and I've been arguing this all year. Yes, we got embarrassed in the Orange Bowl, but so did Alabama in the national. It was a close game for a little bit, but let's be realistic. Georgia dominated that football game in the national title game.
Yes.
So let's not put. I don't know why that is the whole thing. Is that they got embarrassed by the national champions. Georgia just dominated the number 1 team in the country.
Georgia was the best team in the country.
Georgia is the best team in the country right now.
I just want to say Georgia too.
Georgia.
So like your point to that, I think, in my opinion, and I've said that to everybody, is irrelevant because the Georgia loss, you lost to the best team, but not even a team as number 1 in the country who was supposed to compete with Georgia can compete with Georgia. So I think it's a relevant point, and I don't think it matters because if it mattered, then they wouldn't be number 3 right now. Tennessee would be number 3, or TCU would be number 3. Mm-hmm. That's my problem.
Well, not necessarily because
neither do I.
It'll be like fucking like Washington making the playoffs. It's just a bad matchup for anyone.
So I don't think that's necessarily true because Tennessee just got blown out by Georgia, and TCU plays in a lackluster Big 12.
Yeah. Yeah, I would take Tennessee over TCU anyway.
I would take Tennessee over TCU. I would take Michigan over TCU.
Yeah, fair.
But what I'm saying is like if Michigan doesn't beat Ohio State, that's a reason for them to be kept out. Now, let's look at your situation. If they lose by like a field goal, like you said, like last minute, like buzzer beater field goal, and then Ohio State somehow loses the Big Ten game, Michigan's out.
Mm-hmm.
If they lose by this field goal and Oregon, a team like maybe Oregon, blows out whoever they play in the Pac-12 championship game, Michigan might be out.
Mm-hmm.
Because then Oregon looks like the better team.
And they're a conference champion.
Thank you.
Who would Oregon play? It would be USC. Is it?
USC.
They don't have
Utah.
They don't have North South or anything like that.
It would be.
They play Utah.
Yeah. Or USC.
Utah or USC. What about UCLA?
No, because USC beat UCLA, and Oregon beat USC.
Right. So it would be USC, I think.
So
No, Oregon beat UCLA.
that's it.
So yeah, it's most likely going to be Oregon, UCLA, or USC, I should say.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know.
I want that too because I want Oregon to get a better win.
Well,
I think it's tough. I think it's crazy too because like Kirk Herbstreit and Joey Galloway were talking about it on the rankings. I watched it this week, and they were just saying it's crazy. We're in week 2 of this. We have still 5 weeks to go, and we're having these type of debates. And it's crazy because the 2 teams who are usually in it every year, Bama and Clemson, are done.
Saying, is this and the more interesting is this the end of the dynasty of one of these teams making the final? So
I don't think so. Not with the recruiting class, because the day after the Clemson got lost to Notre Dame, all of a sudden I got an update saying that they got another 5-star recruit for next year. So I'm like, no, they'll be all right. Well, to kind of move it to too many
U teams in the Pac-10.
What does that mean?
Utah, USC, UCLA,
you.
University of Oregon,
University of Washington.
Every team has a university in front of it,
except the colleges.
Yes,
in the states.
In the states.
Screw Michigan State.
But it technically is the state university of whatever.
What is?
Well, to move,
if it's whatever state, like
SUNY.
Keep up, son.
UCLA.
To move from one college sport to another,
yes.
Our favorite sport, college basketball, started this week. And Syracuse reign for a national title started with a 92-73 win.
Here we go.
Will any school dominate the college basketball season?
No.
All right,
Moving on. All right. Stump the squad. Stump the squad.
The way
I'm sorry. Would you like me to elaborate?
Yeah, you should have listened to me.
Here's what Mikey has a great point about because the new tournament format of the way the regular season plays out, where you have Duke and Kansas and Kentucky and Michigan State and a lot of these teams going at it with each other early on in the season. Gonzaga or a Houston in the mid-conference teams who can dominate, the only ones that you could probably say will dominate the season because there's like one team that can beat them in that conference, right? Well,
I mean, we got a tough game coming up this weekend. We got a cool one. It's the one on the ship. It's Michigan State versus Gonzaga on the charter ship, which I thought was pretty cool. Syracuse played in that a few years ago. I think against. Did we play San Diego State or Michigan State? San Diego State. San Diego State. You're right.
Yeah, it was San Diego State.
No, it was San Diego State. Michigan State played on that too. The game before us.
They played Duke, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think that there's too much parity now. I think with the transfer portal has opened up a lot of doors for transfers to go to different schools and not have to go to the league and stuff like that. So right now it looks like North Carolina is returning a lot of guys. Will they get back to it? I think they just got lucky on a run, to be honest with you. I don't think they were as good as they were.
Damn, Mike, you gonna take that?
I told them they did get lucky on a run, and there's nothing wrong with that. Syracuse made a living in
Syracuse. We're talking about Carolina. Mike, hold on. Mike,
Carolina fans did not even care about
next time Syracuse makes a national championship game.
They didn't care about it. They knocked Coach K out in his final game. They knocked Coach K out.
Yeah,
Carolina fans were fine with that. They didn't even need to win the championship.
What did I say before the show started, guys?
Yeah, it was
beating Coach. I said to them, beating Coach K twice almost made losing the national championship game okay.
Mike did this thing.
It did almost.
It did. Coach K.
It did.
It's at the time.
I didn't actually.
Stop doing that.
I didn't use those words.
It's at 10 o'clock.
Cinco squad after dark.
You're number 6.
In defense of my North Carolina Tar Heels, Armando Bacot would not have hurt his ankle if the floorboard wasn't loose, and if the floorboard wasn't loose and he didn't hurt his ankle, they may have won that game. Anyway, no, I don't think. I think North Carolina returning a lot of their starters aside from Brady Manick is a really big thing, and I think it's gonna help a lot. Plus, having someone off the bench like Puff Johnson, love that there's someone named Puff Johnson on the team. But I agree. With the transfer portal, a lot of these programs, even like the non-ranked preseason programs, are going to be really good this year. There's a lot of really good basketball conferences out there now. Yeah. I mean, John, we went to college in a conference that seems to have only gotten better since we left the Atlantic 10. Like they're starting to send like 3 or 4 teams a year.
Now they just gained Loyola Chicago from
that's gonna be huge.
Sister, whatever her name is. Sister Jean. Remember Sister Jean? Jamie?
Sister and Jean? You mean one of my classmates? Yes, I remember her.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're that old.
I had to think about that for a second. I was
what was she like?
Wait, don't hold up that water. Hold up that water. Let me tell you a story about Sister Jean.
Whoa.
Oh fuck! I'm going to hell now. Jamie's the reason she's in a wheelchair.
Oh god!
All right. Cut that one out, anyway, college basketball. Trying to get this train back on the rails. Jay, what do you think? Quick, make a good point.
This is why we don't start at 9 o'clock.
My bad. All right.
Kentucky basketball is back. After the most embarrassing loss in program history, Kentucky basketball is officially back. We have the most upperclassmen we've ever had, ever since Calipari's been there. He's brought in a slew of people to work with the team, including a sports psychologist who's worked with other teams, helping them towards championship seasons.
I saw
Wheeler and Speedway are probably the best 1-2 combo in college basketball in terms of the chemistry that they have. Not the athleticism, but the chemistry. They can play with their eyes closed and find each other on the floor right now.
Didn't Speedway win Player of the Year last year too?
Yeah, he did.
So
that's I think right now, you know, surprisingly, the 2 favorites right now are Gonzaga and Houston going to Vegas.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right?
How about Penny Hardaway signing 2 5-star recruits too? Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Including Mikey.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think I was just watching something on how Coach Cal brought in a sports psychologist because he said that a lot of these guys were in their head and he needed them to kind of understand it. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to do wrong, but don't harp on it and move on. Like, get to the next play, get to the next foul. If you, let's say, throw the ball out of bounds by accident, go down there and make a block or make a steal. Go play good defense. You know, and that's what he's trying to teach. He's like, I'm glad these guys came back because they deserved to have that.
Mm-hmm.
So, here we go. Here we go. The family that doesn't make any sense to go to UNC.
Get him out of here.
Jimmy used to color. Yeah.
Actually, she never wore jeans, to be honest. There wasn't much going on under that skirt either. So.
Oh, Jesus.
Jamie, captain back in my day.
Pat, what do you think? What do you think about the college basketball season so far with our Syracuse Orange?
All right. Syracuse got a very exciting freshman class. Judah Mintz, John, I told you this when the game was being played. He reminds me a lot of Johnny Flynn. I love what I'm seeing out of Syracuse. They're not going to be dominant. Let's just be real, though. The Houston Cougars. I'm being real. They might be right there again.
Yep.
This is a team that's just kept running through NCAA tournaments. Kelvin Sampson is just putting together dogs on the court.
All right, Pat McAfee.
Dude, they can get there. He always gets the toughest guys.
They look like 28-year-old men. They don't look like
he does.
He does. Like big grown-ass men.
And they don't even care about putting points. They just don't want you to get to the bucket.
Yep.
And that's actually some basketball I like to watch, man.
That's
But
like
Jay
old
Wright
school
won
Georgetown.
that formula, right? That's why Villanova won national championships, because they played that.
Bingo.
We can't score the ball enough times, and we don't need to score that much either. We'll beat you in a close game. So.
Houston's playing Big East basketball, like Mike said.
Yeah.
That tough, gritty. We'll average 65 points a game, but you're going to average 40.
And that's the type of basketball you don't see right now. So it's hard to play again.
I don't know. A couple of the national championships had that blueprint. Villanova, Baylor, they had that blueprint. They've all won one within the last 5 years. And they played that gritty style, puts a lot less pressure on your guys to think they have to chug up bad shots. But then on the opposite side, you're getting high percentage shots because you're not ever down big. The team's not down by double digits because you're playing too good of defense to succumb to a big deficit like that. So it's a good blueprint.
But then you've got, by the same token, you've got your UNCs and your Kansases that have won national championships, and they do play that chuck up shot.
They light it up
game, but they have a bunch of guys that will make those shots. Mm-hmm. So it seems like programs are starting to fall within one of those two categories. Mm-hmm. They're either the gritty team that plays tight defense or the team that will shoot the lights out.
Like Arizona last year.
Right. And is there a team that's going to be both is the question.
And I think this
Mike, what did you just do there?
Don't worry about it.
I think the question the question came from ultimately, I think, Jay Wright stepping away, Coach K stepping away, Coach K having a team that can be dominant. UNC, having a dominant team last year at the end. They did not have a good team. They did not have a good team in the regular season. They got into the tournament kind of like Syracuse did over in the 2010s, where they got in and then
they were a team that was built specifically for the tournament.
So I agree. And let's move on to Stumpy McDumper, Sister Jean stumping and dumping and drubbling and bubbling.
Rumbling, stumbling, bubbling.
Got a boy. Ring that bell, man. Ring that bell. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached our favorite point of the show. If you've never watched the show, this is Stop the Squad. Each one of us are going to ask each other a question, pretend like we're not cheating. We are, but we have to pretend like we're just guessing. But one person's going to have more points than everybody else, and that person gets to go on a rant. Mike finally got dethroned last week.
No, he didn't.
Perfect week. Let's see if I can back up another perfect week.
Oh, hey.
What do you want?
I would like the Piranha to take it away this week.
Wait a minute.
Mike won last
False
week.
information. I won last week, sir.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you did.
3 weeks ago, Pat dethroned.
We went to overtime.
We went to overtime, and then I won because I knew who Ole Madsen was.
Instant show corrections. Mike obviously used some ridiculous stat because John asked the most ridiculous question ever on Stump the Squad to make a
Thank you. That's what
happened.
I was on a roll too.
Everyone's a critic
too right now.
Everyone's a critic. How many dimples in a golf ball? Anywho,
I didn't ask that.
You did 1 week.
No, I did not.
Flipping around the
yes, you did.
Too.
You did ask that 1 week. It was 318, I think.
No, I did not. Pat asked that question.
All right, Pat's going to ask another question.
I got to be on the graphic.
The most Silver Slugger awards in MLB history, boys?
Tony Pena.
Okay. Well, John's out. We're going A, Gwynn. Barry Bonds. B, Tony Gwynn. C,
Gwynn.
Mike Piazza. Or D, Alex Rodriguez.
Tony Gwynn.
Silver Slugger. I want to say Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, I do want to say Tony Gwynn.
All Tony Gwynn?
20. Yep.
Boys,
all three.
I have successfully stumped Tony Gwynn stands.
It's A-Rod.
Barry Bonds.
That's Bonds.
Wow. Why did we not guess that? That's pretty obvious.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
The number, it was Barry Bonds, Mike Piazza, A-Rod, and then Barry Larkin.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, right? That makes sense.
All right, Pat, who's next?
I want Mr. Make Sense right in the top corner.
That's one of my many good nicknames.
Mr. Makes Sense.
Mr. Makes Sense.
I like Peanut.
Just sense.
Oh, Peanut.
All right, we're gonna. All right, we're gonna move over to college basketball.
Thank you. Finally,
We all know that, of course, the North Carolina Tar Heels were the preseason number 1, and will finish the year as number 1. But I need to know, what team has the most AP preseason poll appearances in college basketball history without ever being the preseason number 1?
Say, repeat that.
Okay, I think we can hold on. I think we can
Which
get rid
team
of this.
has
They all
the
know what's
most
going on.
appearances in the AP top 25?
Yes.
Without ever being the overall number 1.
Right.
No, gave it away.
It's the it's the most AP preseason poll appearances in the history of college basketball without ever being ranked number 1 in the preseason.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
A, Louisville. B, Villanova.
No,
C,
Villanova.
Notre Dame. Or D, Memphis.
That is a good fucking question.
Thank you.
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
Louisville.
John says Louisville.
It's actually Louisville.
Louisville.
Did you see they
We also
lost
talked
this week?
about that when you weren't here.
Yeah, who they lose to? Belmont or somebody?
Belmont, I think it was.
Belmari?
Pierre Edward Belmar.
Notre Dame, Louisville, Memphis.
Notre Dame, Louisville,
or-
Villanova, Memphis.
Like, that's a good question because I
Say it
know
again.
you like Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, Louisville, Memphis, or who?
Notre Dame, Louisville, Memphis, or Nova.
Nova was ranked number 1 before.
No,
they
it
won.
was
I'm
always
going to
been
go
2.
Notre Dame.
No, they won. After the year they won the national title.
They weren't.
So
Though. They
far.
weren't preseason number 1. They were preseason number 2. I'm going to take Nova.
Pat.
I'm going Notre Dame.
Okay, so Pat says Notre Dame. Jamie says Nova. John says Louisville.
Louisville.
Louisville. I have successfully stumped Pat and Jamie.
Wow.
40
You want that guy to give a rant today?
41 appearances. Only ever got to number 2. Next was, hold on, let me see. Next was Nova, who actually has only ever made it to number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with Notre Dame and Memphis. Nova, Notre Dame, and Memphis all tied at 23 appearances.
Yeah.
All only ever made it to 3.
You want that guy to give their
Do that again, Mike?
Hmm?
Do that again?
No. John's gonna ask the next question.
Uncle Mike says Memphis.
Nope.
Uncle
No,
Mike
sir.
-2.
No sign.
If you're playing at home.
If you're playing at home.
All right, so this is a college basketball question. Mail and I were going through this trivia and going through it. So, which school lost to Maryland in the regional semifinal game in 2001 in the NCAA basketball tournament, 76-66? Was it Florida, Georgetown, Duke, or North Carolina? So I'll repeat it.
Semifinals?
Which school lost to Maryland in the regional semifinals, so the Sweet 16,
Right.
76-66 in the 2001 NCAA tournament? Florida, Georgetown, Duke, or North Carolina?
None of us were alive.
Yes, we were. We watched the national title, Syracuse.
2001?
2003.
Oh, I thought you said 76.
76-66 was the
Oh,
score.
was the final.
Okay.
Duke played in the
I thought those were
finals
the
that year.
years.
Not Duke. Duke, North Carolina. Were the other two?
Florida, Georgetown, Duke, and North Carolina played Maryland in the 2001 NCAA tournament in one.
Sweet 16.
Yes.
Well,
I don't know
North
why. I
Carolina
think
would be the target
that
answer.
was a weird year. That year, I think, I don't know why
Yeah.
I want to see Florida made the Final Four that year. That was a weird year. That was like the Florida,
It's not really hard.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Duke.
You're saying Duke?
Yeah.
No, Duke made the championship game that year.
You know, I'll agree. I think I'll agree with my uncle. I'll go Georgetown.
Georgetown
with the
loses
Gators.
terrible games.
I'll take the Gators.
That was my
This is a
second.
very
choice, by the way,
obscure
Jamie.
question again, John.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a good question. It's very specific.
Yeah, but
Very
I have.
specific.
So Mike says Georgetown,
Yep.
Pat says Duke, and Jamie says Florida.
Flow rider.
I successfully stumped Pat and Jamie. It is Georgetown.
Thank you, Uncle Mike.
Wow. Curse your family.
It's another show where I've got every fucking question wrong.
Now it comes
Don't
down
worry,
to
Jamie.
Mike.
Your day will come.
Jamie, you can swear.
Yeah,
Now-
it's almost 10:30.
Now it comes down. It comes down to.
Oh, fuck, man. It's already.
It comes down to me and you.
And me?
And you.
And you.
And both of
And
us
me.
together.
All right. I'm going to ask a much more current, up-to-date question, which kind of
good.
makes sense.
Thank God.
So, which team has the most sacks this season, other than the Dallas Cowboys?
I thought he said sex.
The league
Cleveland Browns, Deshaun Watson.
has the most sacks in the league, other than the Dallas Cowboys, who lead the league in sacks so far. Is it the Baltimore Ravens, Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or New England Patriots?
Who has the more sacks?
Other than the Dallas Cowboys,
Other
who
than the
lead,
Cowboys.
lead the league, which
So who's
team
number
has the
two?
next most sacks so far this year? Is it the Ravens, the Seahawks, the Bucks, or the Pats?
The Patriots. Sister Jean's still on his mind.
The Seahawks. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Going to Pats. It's the year of sacks for Pats.
So, Pat, you're the Pats, and then John and Mike are taking the Seahawks.
Pats the Pats.
Pats the Pats. Gentlemen, I have successfully stumped Mike and John.
Oh my
It
God!
is-
Is it?
Thank you,
Dallas
Judon.
has,
Thank
right
you,
now,
Judon.
Dallas at 33, the Pats at 32, the Bucks at 29, the Seahawks and Ravens at 27.
All right, Jamie. You got to come up with a.
And the Cowboys have done it with one less game.
Jamie, you got to come up with a question because we all just tied except you.
It's a three-way tie right now.
The three-way
Yeah.
tie right now.
That's pretty awesome. All right,
First
I'm going to
three-way I've
come up
ever
with.
been a part of, guys.
I am definitely-
Thanks, I appreciate you.
It's probably not the one you expected, Pat, but
He said, hey, who thought we'd be here? Not me.
not me.
Who thought?
Who thought? Look at us.
Look at us.
Not me.
Not me.
Oh, this one, you guys are gonna love this one.
Nah, I probably won't.
This
On a
is
side note, Kershaw just signed a 1-year deal with the Dodgers.
Yes.
with the World Cup right around the
Oh,
corner.
Jesus.
All right, turn me off.
What is your U.S. men's national team's current world ranking?
Oh.
Person closest to the number wins the tiebreaker.
Are we doing prices right? Close.
How many rankings are there, Jamie?
Yeah, give us a.
No, there's like 1 through 300. There's like 300 countries.
No, I was wondering how many are in the world rankings. Like, I don't know soccer like
300.
that.
It'll go for as many members as there are in FIFA. There's over like 300 countries.
Okay, so I didn't know. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I'm going
Nine.
10.
Pat's going 10.
Yep, lucky number.
Go ahead, Mike.
Listen, I can promise you this is one I actually don't know.
That's
I know. But go
why I
ahead.
asked it.
I know. That's why you asked it. Pat went 11.
10.
Pat
went
went 10.
Nice happy medium.
I don't
John's
know if
gonna
we're
do
in
a
single
plus one on
digits,
you.
though. That's the question. I don't know if we're in single digits. No, he wants me to answer so he can go like one lower.
Like
No,
plus one.
no, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
don't sandwich me, guys. That'd be fucked up.
I don't know if we're single digits. I'm gonna go 12.
12.
I'm going to go
Use that poker face, Jay.
65.
65. You
Sheesh.
sure you want to go 65?
There's like 65 teams in the
John, we are
You
not
just
bad
said
at
there
soccer.
was 300.
Yeah, but
No,
we're not
yeah,
that
just
bad.
300 teams.
But the USA is in the World Cup, so
Yeah,
they
there's
can't
not-
be 65.
How many- Okay, so that's what I was asking. How many teams is in the world rankings?
Over 300.
What you asked me is how many teams qualify for the World Cup, but that's different. But you can't think USA is that bad. Mike's the freaking winner at 16.
Well, that's bullshit. Because like you asked, I
You
asked
said
the question
65.
That's bullshit. You said
You said
65 like a
you said-
moron. Why would you think 65?
because they
bro?
suck.
They don't suck.
They're in the fucking World Cup.
They don't suck.
So, but that's a trick question because, like you said,
It's not. They've been a perennial top 20 team in the world for the past.
Fuck that. Bullshit. That's bullshit, Jamie.
You asked a terrible question.
How did I ask a terrible question?
Mike, Uncle Mike, putting out the jokes.
That was bullshit, bro.
No, you
By
made
far
the
my
worst
favorite
guess. First of all, you
episode.
asked the worst question ever last week. Now you made the worst guess ever on Something Squad.
No, because I asked you. I legit.
Trifectas with the worst something. So make sure you guys tune in next week Wednesday because it's bound to happen.
No, bullshit. Bullshit. I said to you. No. I said. What is it go from 1 through what? And you said 300. Bullshit.
You just gave your U.S. men's soccer team no credit, bro. Mike, take it.
I don't give them credit.
God, I actually didn't have a rant planned. I think I didn't expect to win. So this week I'll take the rant to say Happy Veterans Day because as of this recording, we're recording this on Thursday. Veterans Day is tomorrow on a Friday. Thank you to all those that protect and serve our country. You allow us to have the freedoms that we do, and we greatly appreciate that. And on that note, I'm also very excited for this week, on the other hand, because as we said before, it's the return of college basketball. And as a big UNC fan who wants to see them run it back, is glad to see all the guys coming back, aside from Brady Manick. I wish we could have him back. But a lot of the starters running it back, see if we can get to a national championship game again, and this time hopefully win. And I think it's going to be an exciting college basketball season. It's an exciting college football season. And let's see if the Yankees can re-sign Judge.
Here.
That's a big
here.
That's a big let's see. Next week, Tuesday is going to be a big day for college basketball. Kentucky, Michigan State, Duke, Kansas. One of the better tournaments early season that they've been hosting. So.
Which tournament is that? It's not the Maui, is it?
Yeah.
No, it's a normal one they do every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Champions one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the champions, whatever. Classic or something like
are
that.
They doing it?
Michigan State in there.
Yeah.
So, well,
at one point it was 4 top 10 teams before Tom Izzo couldn't coach his team to the top 10 anymore for some reason. So,
well, boys, it was a good week of sports. Jamie, you owe me a better question next week.
You owe each other better questions. This is very contentious.
But a great week. I apologize again for being late, but we'll see you next week, 8:30 sharp.
We will no longer post what time the show starts on any of our.
The show starts when we want it to
Just
start.
know we're going to be on at some time on Thursday.
From 7 p.m. to 12. So
just stay on Facebook or YouTube during that time period.
By the way,
we'll see.
I know we didn't mention it, but Atlanta, Carolina, is this more further proof that Thursday Night Football needs to go, by the way?
Yes.
Have you guys been following the game at all?
No. I don't care to.
I've been doing a podcast.
Right now, it's 19-9 to the home team.
What podcast?
Pretty good for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Let's go, Carolina.
All right, boys. Well, have a good weekend watching sports, and we'll see you here next week.
Night, Sister Jean.
Goodbye.